All right, so let's get you to financial freedom by looking at the rich versus the poor mindset. Number 5, and that is that done is better than perfect. Vaughan, you quick, and I see there's quite a few other people waiting for me already. You're so welcome, and I think that we're going to have an incredible evening. Okay, so those of you that do not know me or that's going to watch the broadcast, I'm Dr. Hannes Dreyer, founder of the Wealth Creators University, where our mission is to help you to get to financial freedom as quickly as possible by simply helping you to create, to grow, and to protect your wealth. And in this episode, we're going to look at mindset number 5, and that is that done is better than perfect. You know, rich people get things done, even if it's not perfect. And I think this is something that we need to take, because as soon as they have got it, they can start to improve it. We call it Kaizen. And Kaizen basically is a constant and never-ending improvement. And I find that the poor normally, they procrastinate because they first want it perfect. In other words, unless it's perfect, they're not going to take it to the market. And I see this very often with businesses where they put time and hours and money into this business until it's perfect, and they never get to the market. Okay, so during this live session, I'd like to give you some pointers, not too many, but what I'd like to do is to basically tell you why I think that you should rather get things done than trying to do it perfect. The first thing that I want you to understand is that nothing on this earth is perfect. Maybe my wife is close to perfect, but except for her, by the way, it's her birthday tomorrow. So besides her, there's not a lot of things that are perfect. And I want you to imagine this, especially when you start a business or you've got an idea in order to create a business. Don't look at the end result and want the end result to be perfect once you start. You know, that first reaction or that first spark, that thing that sparks you to start that business, that inspiration that you've got, that motivation that you've got, you need to work with that motivation in order to get you to an end result where you can start benchmark yourself to see if this thing is going to work or if it's not going to work. But if you set this up that you need to have this thing perfect, you're going to find that that enthusiasm that you've got, this drive that you're going to have, that's going to dwindle, and eventually most people do not get the ideas. Even though some of those ideas are brilliant ideas, they simply don't get it out to the public there. Right. Now, I want you to appreciate each and every step, each and every milestone, and that's why at the moment I'm taking my children through a mentoring process. And each and every milestone, each and every part that we built this financial freedom, let's call it machine, right? They have to celebrate, and we celebrate that. And it's an incredible process, and that's exactly what I want you to do. Now, there's a second point that I want to make, and that is that if no one sees it, it does not exist. So you can be sitting on one of the greatest business ideas and concepts that can help millions and millions of people. But as long as you sit with that and you don't show it to the world, it means nothing. And this is why in the Wealth Creators University and with the Wealth Creators Method, what we do is we start by designing this that we want, the business, the idea. And each and every part of that design is actually part of the motivation in order to get things done. So we create what we call a canvas. And as soon as we've got the canvas, we turn the canvas into a prototype. Now, a prototype is not a business. In other words, there's nothing that can go wrong. And it normally does not cost us a cent at that stage. And then we take the prototype to the market. In other words, we haven't got a product, we haven't got a service, we've got a prototype. And I want you to understand the power of this, because it's not a business. Nothing can fail. So the market then tells us what is it that they want, why they want it, how they want it, and then we change the prototype until that is what the market wants. And then, and only then, and by that time, we've already made money. And only then do we take this and we turn that into a product. Right. So we sort out most of the stuff before the time, but it's simply because we get it done. And once it's done, then we start improving. And then, so it's iteration upon iteration until we get to a point where we can say, right, we've got it. And now at least the first phase, we can convert that into a product. We know that this is what the market wants. This is what they love. This is what they've already paid for. and then the process actually start. And there's another thing that I want you to remember. You know, at least my students, I've got the most incredible students on this planet Earth because they want me to succeed. We've got this natural thing in us to help other people to succeed. In other words, if they see there's a flaw, they're going to come back and tell me, honest, but this is what you can do. What about this? And it's incredible that power and that motivation and inspiration that basically comes from the people that you are dealing with. Now, I see there's quite a lot of people here with smileys and thumbs up. I'd love to see some hearts. Vaughan, and thank you for being here. And Son Wabili, I hope that is right. And Keke and Vincent and and to each and every person that is going to join at the later stage, I really appreciate. There I see the first heart. Thank you, and I see more hearts and more hearts, thank you for that. Now, let me give you another reason, and that is self-respect. You know, there's a saying that goes something like this: you're only as good as your word. So if you say that you're going to do something, then you have to do it, even if you don't want to do it. A good example of what I'm busy with this morning, actually late this afternoon, I looked at some of the previous posts that I've made. And I saw there that I've said that I'm going to do a webinar on how to get 10,000 followers in 2 days or less than 2 days. But you know what? I haven't done anything about it. So I called on Vincent, that is basically helping me here. And I said to him, Vincent, Flip, we need to get this thing done. So we set aside, we're going to do it a little bit later today. And by tomorrow, we will have that done. In other words, to be able to prove. And we're going to have a webinar, and I'm going to invite you to that webinar next week, Tuesday. And there we will show you the proof that it's actually done. And this boils down to self-respect, because we've said that we're going to do something, and therefore we simply are going to do it. And I think this is, therefore, I know that it's not going to be perfect. Vincent knows that it's not going to be perfect. We know the first webinar that we're going to, some of you, we only want to invite a few, right? You're going to see it's not perfect. But I promise you, if you will be at the second webinar, you're going to see, Flip, there's a massive improvement. If you attend the third webinar, you're going to say, whoa. And by the 10th webinar, you're going to say, Flip, you guys rock. Okay. But in the meantime, guess what's going to happen? You are going to help us, because I know this always happens. And for that reason, I don't fall into this destructive thing where you say something, but you don't get to it and you don't get it done and out so that people can start to celebrate with you. Right. So maybe another thing is why I think done is better than perfect is that momentum. You know, the moment that you've got this idea, the moment that you bring this idea out, then there's a momentum, and they say success breeds success. And I've seen this so many times in my life, and that's why I've got this 91 perfect day challenge, so that I continue with this on a day-to-day basis, where I want to see what is done. Because if I've done something, if I've learned something, if I encountered a problem and I could overcome that, that builds a positive momentum. And there's nothing as powerful as when you start a business or investment and you start seeing those milestones getting passed, and you start reaching those milestones. That is incredible. So each and every milestone with my children, I see the enthusiasm, I see the power that they've got. Each and every time that I say to them, have you done your homework? They can't wait to do their homework. Why? Because they see that this homework is building skills. And as soon as they've got the skill, they're one step closer to the end result. Although there's no money at the moment, but each and every one of these skills will build towards the great design eventually. And that design, that machine, is going to help them to achieve whatever they want. So each project, each and every investment, each and every project that you've got, make sure that you maintain that momentum and that you celebrate your wins, you know. Another one that I think that we can is what I like to do is I'd like to publish for feedback. As I've said before, my students are incredible. They love to give me feedback, you know, and hearts. I see those hearts are coming like crazy, and the thumbs up. It's fabulous. And Vaughan and Johnny and Abby and Leanne and Abe and thank you so much, and thank you for being here. But as soon as you publish something, then you can start getting the feedback. You can't get feedback if there's nothing out. Okay, so I designed the prototype specifically as an experiment, and that experiment is to get information, to gather data, and to get feedback. And as soon as I start getting the feedback, I implement the feedback. And you will not believe how people like that, because as soon as you acknowledge and say this feedback is because of this person, or they can see it, or you give them a thank, it is incredible. So the way that I see it, the moment that I publish something, that's the draft. That's, first of all, part of the design. That's part of the canvas. Then we start turning the canvas into the prototype the way that I've said to you. And once that is sorted out to a certain level, then for the first time will we start working on the product. But even the products, we know that it's not perfect, and that is constant. It's a never-ending process. It's called Kani or Kaizen, which means that each and every iteration is going to be there. And I see Vincent is reporting in Hendreys and Gerard Dreyer. I hope that we are family. Right? Gerard, there's a Gerard Dreyer here in Pretoria North that is doing quite a lot of advertisements in terms of property. I'm not sure if you that Gerard, but if you are, please give me a thumbs up and tell me that you that person. Then at least I know who you are. Right. So another reason why I love to do it is, or that we need to get it in our minds or into the right mindset, is that you need to know that the first version is always going to suck. You just have to accept it. Okay. So the first webinar that we planned for next week, I know it's not going to be great, but I know that the second webinar will be greater. And I know that my students is going to help me, and they will help me to do it better. So no one talks about the first draft, but you know what? That is the benchmark. That is what you need in order to get to the thing. But you can't get that unless you have got it out. In other words, it must be done. And for that reason, it is necessary that you have to do it, and that you have to have the right mindset. And the mindset is here that I don't necessarily, I know that it's not going to be perfect, but I'm going to get it out. Okay. So the first version that you've got will always help you to refine your work to the place where it will eventually provide massive value, and people are going to love that. And then maybe last for tonight, I can carry on with this because I hope that you can feel that I'm passionate about this. You know, and maybe it's because I hated school, because there everything had to be perfect. And if it's not perfect according to the teachers, then they would mark you down and you would even fail the subject. My mind, an entrepreneur and a wealth creator, does not work that way. We want to get things done. So the last point that I want to mention on this live broadcast is simply don't be attached to results. In other words, be unattached to results. Now, what the hell does this mean? If you want to master something, what you want to do is always to get into the flow. And if you're going to want it to be perfect, the flow will not happen. So if you start celebrating each and every thing that happens, the positive as well as the negative, you're going to find that that is where the growth is going to happen. And one of the things that I try to teach my children and my students is don't be afraid to make mistakes, because the mistakes are the real and the true learning experiences. You know, everyone shies away from mistakes or problems. I do not do that. In my office, I encourage people to bring their problems and to bring their failures to the table so that we can analyze that and see why is it that we've done. No one will ever do something deliberately to fail. It's only because we haven't got the skills. But if we see that, then we can do something about those skills. Then we can say, okay, but what about this? How can we change this? So if you just want to see positive results, you're going to set yourself up for massive, massive failure. You know? So simply don't do it. Gerard, okay, jy's 'n Kaapenaar. No, don't be sorry. Then ek is Johannes Gerardus, and there's another Gerard here. I think I know you. So don't be sorry because you're a Cape Townian. Maybe if there's more water, you will not feel that bad. Right. So I want you to reach a level of flow. And in order to keep that flow, you need to develop this habit to finish what you start without an attachment to that. And what I try to teach my children and my students, and one of the first mentoring courses that I had way back in, I think it was 2004, is I said to people, the fun is in the journey. It's not necessarily in the destination. So everyone wants to reach the goal, but that is not where the fun is, because that to me is most of the time almost like a letdown. You know, now I've achieved it, what the heck now? But in that journey to achieve that expectation that I can see that they are moving forward. I see this nowadays in my children. I see it in the Rainmakers startup business. You know, that is incredible. So we have to learn to do the work, because if you love the process, the work and the processes that goes with it, eventually I promise that you're going to get the results that you desire. So basically, for now, what I want you to do is to take these as pointers to guide you to success, and to remember that this is a skill in itself, you know. So learning to finish your project it's like a muscle. And the only way that you can build this is to exercise it more often. So here's the question that I'd like to ask you. What is it that you are busy with, but that you did not finish? What promise can you make yourself and me, and maybe declare this year, where I see Gerard and Von and Gerard and Hanno van Vier, and hello Hanno and Abe and Mario. Mario, it's so good to see you again. Right. So what's that promise? What's that one thing that you haven't done, or that you can take to the first level where you can show it to someone and say, okay, but I've done this. Okay. What is that one thing? If you can perhaps in the comment share that. I've learned valuable lessons today. Don't get attached to result. Okay, that's great. Okay, the 91-day challenge. Mario, I love that. Okay, tackle that 91 a day and start from the beginning, you know, and see how far you can go. And if you fail, flippin', carry on. Please don't stop. Okay, Vincent, by the way, is my son. I just had a brilliant epiphany, and this is why I'm doing it. So Vincent, I've done it specifically for you, but I've also done it for Mario and also for Kuleku. I hope that's right? Or Abe, right? So I can tell you what is it that I've made a promise that I'm going to show you how to get to 10,000 Facebook followers in less than a day, 2 days. We're going, Vincent and myself. Just after this, we're going to start with the recording. We're going to record from scratch and show you the results over the next 2 days, that we will take a page from nowhere. But that's not going to do anything good for you. Now, what I'm going to do, I've already booked it, and I can give you a link, which I will at the later stage. And that link is going to take you, if you are serious and you want to build followers and to get to 10,000, and you're willing to pay a little bit on advertisement, then I can definitely help you. But I do not want people that is not willing to do it. And the reason for that, let me tell you, I want you to help me by giving me testimonials and by giving Vincent testimonials, because we'd like to take this as one of the first projects of Vincent in order to see how far we can take this and what we can do with that. Okay, so that is what we're going to do. I've already booked it, so it's done, and I can show you to a link on next week, Tuesday, where we can start with the process. Now, I can tell you that webinar is not going to be a great webinar, but we will take you step by step. We're going to make recordings, and we're going to show you how you can do it. You, those people that's going to be on this, you will receive the PDFs. You will receive actually 2 recordings, the one of that night. Now, let me tell you why we're doing it. Because the last webinar that I had, nothing worked, okay? And eventually, I had to give up on this webinar. The technology did not play, Telkom did not play game. It's just one of those days. But I turned that into a sales proposition, and I've even made money on that simply because I've got these massive, incredible students that wants to learn. Okay, and Vincent said, but Dad, what the heck if that happens? Because he's never experienced something, and he was on that webinar with me, with Lara. I mean, they were supposed to do the administration or that part and nothing worked out. And I said, okay, let's have a recording. If things do go wrong, people can actually see that it's going wrong. And there's an enormous power in that, because how are we going to handle that? Because we want to get it done. But at least then we've got a back door, and those people on the, well, they're going to receive a double benefit. Okay, so I think that is that. Is there anyone that would like to be on that? Not only those people that's here, but also the people that's going to listen to the rebroadcast. Is there anyone that would like to follow? Let me quickly see. I see a lot of commitment. Mario says, Vincent, Vaughan, finish my sales funnel tonight, right? And start checking the result. Vaughan, please give me feedback, especially on that first webinar, if you're going to be there. Abe, I had a big deal and was misled by the buyers. Aish. Okay, Abe, here's the trick. What are you going to do about it? How can you make sure that that is not going to happen? Abe, there's a massive learning experience just in that one sentence that you gave me. Because that is, if you can find out what and how they misled you, you can make sure that you're going to save yourself tons and tons and tons of time in the future. Right. Abe, love this, can listen to get responses. Right, Heidi? I'm serious about the followers. I'm committed to the next step. Okay, what is that next step, Heidi? What is it that you can show that I've done it? In other words, it's done. And basically, we have to do that on a day-to-day basis. Hanno says, changing structures and upping marketing in my business. Okay, Hanno, what's the smallest, I like to boil it down to what we call smallest common denominator. In other words, what's the smallest step that you can take? And this is what I'm teaching my students and my children. What's that one step? That's a milestone. What's that one step that you can say, I've done it, I've learned the skill, there's it, I can prove it, and tick it off. That's what I want. I'm 5 days behind. What time we're on? 8. Right, I'm not sure what maybe it's a conversation between you and Vaughan, right? So, Keke says, I'd love to follow. Okay, well, one of the action steps is I'm going to give you to a link, but I first want to explain that if you want to follow. And then the moment that you've done it, you can report back and say, okay, I've booked my seat. Okay, Abe, I think that is for Vaughan. Who can help me? Okay, he throws it out. Who can help me with the funnels? I'm sure that Vaughan will be able to help you. And the trick is not the funnels, Abe, by the way. Right. Yes, please. Abe, thanks. Dr. Gail, thanks. I love to follow. Okay, here's what we're going to do. It's not going to be for everyone. So if you do not have a Facebook page, I would suggest that you skip this one. We will have webinars in the future, and join those. This group of people that I want is basically for testimonials. I want you to do the things, get the results, irrespective of what the results are. I want you to try to get to 10,000. Some of my students, we had 3 people that Vincent took through the process. One got 12,000, another person got about 8,500, and another person 10,010. The person that did not get to the 10,000 did not follow the process exactly in the beginning. So once we start with the process, I really want you to follow exactly. It's going to be very straightforward, very simple. Not only will you have the recording, but also the PDFs. And if you follow that, it's going to be incredible. Right. So we are only going to take about 20 people. I say about 20 people because there are people that's going to first come, first serve. Let me put it to you that way. I'm going to give an EFT. It's going to be paid. I want to test to see if you are willing. And luckily, there's a massive incentive that I'm going to throw back to you. Right. So it's only people that are serious to build their pages. So if you haven't got a page, then please don't subscribe at this stage. Right? Unless you can set up a page and be in the top 20 or in the first 20 before today. So why on earth Facebook fans? I'd like to tell you a little story. And this is why I went to Vincent and approached him in terms of this. A while ago, quite a while ago. I wanted to learn more about cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin and the blockchain and stuff like that. So I did some Google search and I found a couple of people. So the first person that I thought that this person, what I saw on his blog or on his sales page, look okay. So for some crazy reason, and I don't think that is that crazy anymore, but what happened was I thought, let me check and validate this person, and I went to his Facebook page simply because we are on Facebook quite often, and he had something like about 1,700 followers. And I immediately type in the second person on, there was a list of about 5 or 6 people. And the second person had 248,000 people following him. Right. Almost 250,000. Now, at that stage, I had about 20,000 and it took me, on Honest Dreyer, on the page that you're at, it took me about 7 years to get to 20,000. So what did I do? I did what most of you would do. I simply ordered that course. I paid a lot more than on the first person, the person that had 1,700 followers, right? I did the course, nothing wrong with the course. I got a lot of value because I'm always getting value. But it did not take me that long to go through the course. And because I've got some information, I thought maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I should check the second person, which course, by the way, was a lot cheaper. And I ordered the second course and I was blown away with the amount of information that this person was willing to share at that price. Now, luckily, I'm in a position where I've got the time and I've got the money and I've got the resources, so I can do this. But I then looked at my 20,000 followers, and I'm this guru, or some people say I don't see myself as a guru, but I'm a wealth creator and I'm teaching wealth creation to the world. And I looked at this and I thought, I wonder how many sales I've actually missed. And I wonder how many opportunities I had where people came and they saw, flip these 20,000, and a person that has got almost no knowledge has got 248,000 people. There's no comparison between the two. And right there and then I said to Vincent, let's push this app. There's no ways. I don't care what it's going to cost me. And when he came back, he said to me, he's got a little idea, a strategy in his mind. He'll come back to me, what's my budget? And I said, there's no end to the budget. Just get me the followers. And 2 days later, he managed the budget, by the way, for us. So he came back and he said to me, Dad, it cost, I think it was 1,500. Maybe Vincent, you can tell us. And we had more than 10,000 followers in 2 days. I was overwhelmed. And I said to him, flip. We then tried several strategies, and about 65,000, I said to him, whoa, stop. We need to take this to the market. And then the doubt starts coming in. By that time, I've already made a promise, and I thought, yeah, but there's a negative side to this that I want to teach you. And we're going to share that negativity or the negative side with you. If you think that this thing is going to put more money into your pocket, it's not going to work that way. We do it for a completely different and totally different reason. And from that moment, we saw that the engagements start picking up like unreal, So that social proof is something that we should pay attention. And I said to Vincent, it's flipping 50 times better to pay 1,500 for 10,000 likes through marketing instead of trying to print business cards or try to do Facebook advertisements where people come to your site and they say 10,000 people, 2,000 people, 1,700 people, let's move on. Okay, and that's basically. So immediately we saw that our reach is bigger and that we are making money. Okay, so for the first 20 people that's going to react, I'm going to give you the link just now. Okay, it's going to cost you 400 Rand. Why on earth 400 Rand? Well, here's the trick. I don't want tire kickers and I want 20 testimonials out of 20 people. I want to see the result. So if you're going to take a photo, we'll take you through the process, or a screenshot, and you show us where you are. Maybe you're at 15,000 people already, or maybe you're at 1,000 people on your page already. Take a screenshot of that. Show me that you implement the plan that we're going to show you over a 2-day period. Show me the end result. If you show me this process and give me a little testimonial, even if you've got 10 people, I'm going to refund you the full 400 Rand. In other words, it's literally, I want you to take results. Done is better than perfect. If you can do that, I am willing. I don't want you to pay a cent for this. I want you to see the results, because as soon as you're going to see the results, you are going to help me to spread the words, or that's what I believe in. Okay? So the cost, by the way, it's going to cost you approximately, Vincent said there, 1,350. In terms of the budget, make it 1,600, right? Plus the 400, although I think the chances are, if you're an action taker, which I think you are, that is going to be almost 100% that we will refund the full 400 Rand to you. Okay? So there's only 20 spots. You're going to get both the recording that we're going to do tonight. You know the day, you know the time, so you can see that we've actually done it. I'm going to pass that bucket on to Vincent, because it's going to take literally less than, I think, 10 minutes, if 10 minutes, right? And then tomorrow we're going to do exactly the same, and on the third day we're going to give a report, and in the webinar we're going to discuss that, but then we're going to take you step by step through the process with the PDFs, with a ton of bonuses that we are going to give you. Okay, so here's the link. I just want to see if I can copy that. If you receive that link, remember there's only 20. After the 20, you'll see the screen is going to change. We will have webinars in the future. So the next webinar is not going to be this Tuesday. It's going to be the week after that Tuesday. And then you'll be in time in order to do that. So did you see, and can you see that link that I've just posted? Okay. So if you've got that, you're going to land on a page. Let me see if I can get there quickly. This is not where I want you to be. I want you to be here. Right. So you're going to land on a page. It gives you 5 days. That's when the webinar is. I expect that in the rebroadcast, if you still see this page, it means that we haven't got 20 people. It's that simple. Right. So as soon as we've got it, you're going to click on claim your spot. That's going to take you to this page. This is the book out page. Then you're going to fill in your detail, and then you're going to come back. Remember to come back, and then click to add to order. And that is literally how simple it's going to be. So if you're there, you know that you're part of the 20. If you're not, the page will change and say, sorry, get on the list. And as soon as you get on the list, we will invite you for the next one. So you're not going to really, but we really want people for this one. The 20 people that we need is people that are actively involved in Facebook and that wants to find a easy way and a quick way to, well, you can decide how many people you want additional. In other words, if you want 100,000, I will not advise that, because there's something else that we're going to tell you during the second webinar or the first webinar, and that is that we need engagements, and this is not necessarily going to give you that engagement. Although on one of the ladies that did this, that Vincent took out, we took through the process, her engagements grew by almost 1,000% just after and during this phase. And to her and her business, that means a lot. So let me quickly go and have a look. Gail Scott, love to follow. Joan, yes, please. Fine. Abe, I mean the webinar times. The webinar times you'll see, basically there are 3 webinars, remember, because we are going to take you hand by hand, step by step through this process. And therefore, on the first day, we're going to give you a little assignment. We're going to show you how to do that, and we've already done it. Now, we're going to do that tonight. Right. So you'll have more than enough examples. You can come back to us at any stage to ask us to help you, because it's crucial that we get this. You'll see there are 2 testimonials below on the page that I just showed you. So it's going to be on the 29th, the 30th, and the 31st of May 2018, and we're going to do it at 1900 hours. I don't think it's going to take longer than about this session, more or less 45 minutes, absolute maximum. But the demonstration or the the process is going to take approximately, I would say, 10 minutes, and Vincent will take you through that process. Right, so I hope that answered that. The trick is not in the funnels. I absolutely agree with you. You can have all the funnels if you miss the basics, like Vaughan says. By the way, Vaughan is one of the master wealth creators. He's a master fellow of the Institute of Wealth Creators. So you can basically listen to what Vaughan is saying. Hendrey van Rooyen, if one cannot attend the webinar online due to work, what's the alternative? The alternative is if you've paid the 400 Rand, you're going to have a month in order to prove that, right? So, Hendrey, all that you're going to do, we'll send you immediately, as soon as we can, which I think will be almost the same day, right? Or early in the next morning. We're going to send you and you're going to start the process. So that's the reason why we are going to do a recording on that night during the webinar, but we've also got a recording that we're going to record tonight as a backup in the event of if something fails. So I will come back to you if, like the last webinar that we had, where that was absolutely chaos, Vincent and myself will record what we would have said on the webinar, send that out to you for the 400 Rand, and basically I hope with everything in me that you're going to claim back the 400 Rand, and I really want to give that back to you. Skop says, yes, AB, I have a few products. Must I do one Facebook page per item? That's normally what, there's different ways. I'm using Dr. Hannes Dreyer. This is my page, and I'm doing a lot of stuff. All my products basically comes here, but then you're going to find that each and every product in itself, we're going to have like a group, okay? And by the way, Abe, this is some of the stuff that you're going to learn. Okay, Anu, will it work for my page? I've got no sure. The challenge I have is that I'm aiming to get followers in our province only. Here's the trick, I know. In the beginning, that's not what we're going to focus on. We're going to go worldwide, right? We want to get a lot of followers. Once you've got the followers, then we're going to start teaching you how to optimize and how then in that province. In other words, now we've got the cloud, you've got the visibility. So if those people come to your website, they can see, yeah, but this guy knows and there's a lot of followers. Now we're going to start on to monetize that, and you'll start focusing on getting followers for your province or for your town only. But that's the next step. You know, it's no good a person from Gauteng visit your website, you've got 5 likes and 5 followers, and he disappears because he does not trust you. Okay, Vincent said 1,350. So to be part of this group where you're going to pay the 400, at least another 1,600. I think for that I can almost guarantee you. Let me put it to you this way. If you do this at 1,600 Rand and you do exactly what we tell you, not only will we give you 400 Rand back, we will actually pay you 400 Rand for just trying. Okay, so I want to take, but you have to show us that you did exactly what we told you to do. Right, so I'm 100% sure that at 1,600, or at least you're going to be very, very happy with that. Right, Vaughan, I'm in. I can do this for my dad. Of course, you can do it. You see, this is the power of skills, Vaughan. The moment that you know how to do it, you can do it for anyone. Can you imagine if you're in marketing currently, and you can go to a person and say, I can push your likes up within the next 2 days with 10,000. It's costing you 5,000 Rand in order to do it. You can pay for that, and you're going to make a handsome little profit. Right. Vaughan, don't even want a refund. So much knowledge. Thank you for that, Vaughan, but at least I want your testimonial. So if you don't want the refund, by the way, there's something else that I'm going to do for this group of people. And I'm not going to tell you now what it is, but I've already discussed this with Vincent. We've lost connection, but everything is back. Then, Mario, I just want to get right. There's the link, Mario. Maybe I'm going to give it to you again. Just follow this. I think they call it a thread. In other words, the comments, And as soon as we're done, Vincent, maybe you can put it as quickly as, maybe you can go on. I'm not sure if you'll be able to do it while we're live, but basically it's wealthcreatorsmethod.com /webinar-10,000-likes-book. That is the full sequence. Johnny says, I'm in. Right, Mario, where's the link? I just gave it to you. I'm late, but in. Perfect, Ralph. Ralph, message in the link. Thank you. That's where it is. I'm in. It says, Skop, right? Vaughan, sweet, paid already. Oh, rock. I love that, Vaughan. But this is why you're a master fellow, because I know that you are taking action and that you love. Betaling gemaak, Gerard, that is beautiful. Right, that's why you're a drayer. Right, Ricardo, yes, I'm in. Perfect. Ricardo, you're also following me for quite some time. Leanne, right, where's the link? I just gave it. It's just below where you put in, where's the link? Leanne, I hope that you see it. Mario says, I've got it. Mario says, thank you. And I say, thank you. Right. I'm really enjoying this. Now, this is not only for this group. I'm not sure how many people is on. Maybe Vincent can, I don't know where to see this. I can see a lot of thumbs up and 61 hearts and 4 wows. No, it's teardrops. I'm not sure why the teardrops. Okay, so, but in the rebroadcast, if you listen to this during the rebroadcast, follow those links. And if we're going to put it on top. And, well, at least then if we are fully booked out, the 20, then simply, and remember you can get, if like the person that said that he can't make it because he's working, you'll still get the rebroadcast or the full, the videos and all of the bonuses so that you can catch up in order to make it within the 30 days. Right. So, Mario, thank you. Right. Ralph, she's okay. Yes, payment successful. Great, Mario. Leanne, thank you. Leanne, that is absolutely wonderful. Right. So I think that is basically that. I just want to say to you that I'm really enjoying these live sessions. And then I don't know when the next one is going to be. Oh, by the way, I've said that already. Maybe you can wish Tanya tomorrow happy birthday. That's going to be a great day for her. So I don't think that I'm going to spend a lot of time tomorrow on Facebook. And I know that I'm going, she does not want to go away. We've got the little ritual, but this year she's got grandchildren. And for that reason, she wanted to be with the grandchildren, not with the children, with the grandchildren. Can you flip and believe it? Okay, so we're going to be going away on a Friday. We're going to travel a couple of, I want to test out some new stuff that I've done to the G-Wagon. Right, so thanks for that, and thank you for watching. And with that, I think I'll see you then on the next. By the way, follow that process with my children. I'm sure that you're going to learn quite a lot in terms of how they're going to become financially free in a very, very short time. And with that, I'll see you then in the next broadcast. See you.